this episode of Imagineering, where we try and help you move up rather than just on with life. My guest today is Gaven Sinclair, and Gaven is one of South Africa's top professional sponsored adventurers. He's an athlete, an activist, and he runs not only to make the world a better place, but he is an activist against human trafficking, and he's a stern conservationist when it comes to oceanography and the ocean and protecting our environment. Gaven has a natural ability to connect as a global speaker and life coach with a powerful underlying commitment to inspire and motivate people on a vast network. Between his fundraising and charitable work over the past 4 years, Gaven has a natural ability to push beyond one's threshold and perceive the body and mind, which gives him a deeper understanding of perception and achieve. Gaven, welcome to Imagineering. Thank you for doing this series of talks.
It's only a pleasure. Thanks for interviewing me. I really appreciate it, and good to chat to you again.
Yeah, we met, was it a year ago, 2 years ago in Swakopmund?
About a year and a half ago in Swakopmund. That's where I was busy running my 4,000 kilometers through Africa, solo and supported, to raise funds and awareness for missing children in South Africa as an ambassador.
That's awesome. And you did that 4,000 kilometer stretch where you went all the way up north and then you came back in Africa, unsupported, just you, no taxis, backsies, I want to say. And just how long did that take you?
So I started in St. Lucia and I ran up the east coast towards the border of Mozambique. And then I got onto the beach and I ran a beach stage from Makaneta all the way up to just before Kanjata Bay before I turned west to head up to the other side and then to enter into eventually Botswana. My total days, it took me just over 7 months to complete.
Wow, 7 months, solo, unsupported, just you, the world. What challenges did you have that you had to face?
Well, your three basics you need is really just shelter, food, and just knowing that there is a sense of planning, because there's a lot of planning that goes involved in this, but it's more so once you start this type of bigger scale challenges, your real planning only starts after you start running and you get to your first stage, and then you really find out through the locals what is the best options, and then you rely heavily on your intuition and your gut. But challenges along the way would be obviously making sure you choose the right route and you don't run out of time or daylight, or that you have enough nutrition and you've eaten enough to give you enough energy for each day's stage, and finding a safe place to overnight, and safe drinking water through Africa, food, like I say. And then, of course, you would have your daily challenges like weather, extreme heat, downpours, malaria possibilities through Mozambique, which I picked up on my Cape to Cairo. I picked up malaria. Malaria, I picked it up in Gorongosa region just before I went into Malawi. I obviously got the full effect of malaria, so I was down for about a week and a half. So in terms of challenges, when you do these types of things, it's just really about preparing yourself mentally and knowing that you're going to have these types of variables every day, and don't see them as a challenge, just see them as every day it's a situation. But in terms of all this said, it's really probably the most liberating experiences one can experience for me personally.
So now, apart from the physical challenges, that's quite obvious that you need to be quite fit and to be prepared physically for such a journey. what are the mental strains that accompany such a undertaking?
Well, mental strains, you need to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings in every situation. And it's just really how you look at the situation, it's your perception. I mean, you can look at it and say it's a challenge or it's difficult, or you can see the positive in all that. And I use visualization, which helps me through bad situations or challenging situations. And I use my imagination to get me through a lot of situations in my life. And I train my mind to be stronger than my feelings. And basically to visualize your end result. And to know that going through these types of challenges, it can either build you or break you. And there's a lot of growth that happens when you do these types of challenges, spiritually, physically, mentally. And, the thing is to always believe in what you're doing, have confidence in yourself, and just trust the process, trust the journey.
Like a daily
Because you'll look back
motivation.
one day and look.
You have like a daily affirmation or technique that you use that helps you cope with the fact that you are doing this and it is tough and you don't have a support system in place. Just sort of overcome.
Well, I choose not to have support. Yeah, I think solo unsupported makes it more challenging for me personally, and I do have a physiological makeup, and I do have a bit of a fearless spirit, with a lot of confidence in my ability, and so that helps me through a lot.
So skill is better than luck, I think.
Sure.
So you don't try and rely on luck, just like you try and rely on your skills, on your training, on your motivation, and your strength of character, and your mind, and your will and determination to succeed. And I think that's brilliant, because so much of us, so many of us, we tend to just make things happen rather than make them happen for us.
Sure, I would think we mustn't underestimate how powerful we are as individuals. We choose to use the word luck, but maybe if we look at it as we create our environment, our daily existence, our path, and it's through the energy you project and the way you communicate with yourself, it's what you will draw. And if you believe everything works out, and it will work out, and there will be a area of unknown, that is a place that is where you're living out of your comfort zone. So imagine running through Africa, not knowing where you're going to sleep every night, if it will be possible, but having the faith that everything works out. And sometimes people are afraid to step out of that area or that zone because of the unknown, and take fewer risks. But when you actually step through it, out of it, and further away from it, you really grow as a person, and so much more opportunities are presented to you.
Now, apart from running 4,000 kilometers unaided, you are an extreme adventurer, which means you've done quite a lot of other things. Can you tell me about, you were going to go swimming at some point. Can you tell me about that?
So I started 4 years ago, and I did Cape to Cairo solo unsupported for missing children as an ambassador to raise funds. And then I ran 4,000 Ks. And this year I did 2 island swims up north of Mozambique. And there was a major third swim charity that I was planning to swim to Madagascar over 22 days. So, but now currently I have just collaborated first time with 2 very well-known public figures to do a charity cycle ride from Cape Town to KZN for Blood Lions Foundation and for the Kingsley Hallgate Foundation. And then I'm looking to hopefully climb a mountain next. So the idea is to keep doing different things.
Which mountain do you want to conquer? Which mountain do you want to go and summit?
There's many amazing places to explore. I mean, in Peru, there are some incredible mountains. Of course, we always talk about Mount Everest. It's, we can all do these things, but it's all determined by what budget you have. So I would say I would go to a place that is not that frequent. It's like somewhere in Peru or somewhere.
Now you're currently living in Mozambique, and you've traveled all the way up to Cairo, to Egypt, and the way back. What have you found to be the quintessential essence of Africa during your journey? Like, how have you discovered the people, the countries? Were you warmly received?
So you get to learn a lot about Africa because you're going at such a different pace to being in a 4x4. So you get to stop off at all the villages and all the places along the way. So it's a melting pot of culture, environment, and you get to learn about each culture, the different tribes, the way they eat. You get to eat the local foods, the way they live, the style of the way they live. And you get to learn so much when you go through Africa traveling and staying in all these villages and stuff, opposed to staying in hotels and stuff. So I've learned so much about the people because it's about the people that defines the experience.
Would you say Africans are creative? Have you discovered that?
Definitely, yeah, I would say Africans. Wherever you go in Africa, everybody is an entrepreneur doing something. Each person has their own little business, and it's a thriving little business. They support themselves, their family, and they obviously sell off, and they trade and barter. So it's very much like earlier times, and a lot of entrepreneurship, whether it is taking rock, breaking it down to smaller size stones on the side of the road to resell. There's always something that is, and you find these businesses all along the roads and through the villages and stuff.
Okay, so the entrepreneurial spirit is very evident in Africans, and the drive, the force. I mean, you're just a prime example of that, of wanting to be more, not get stuck in a situation that you don't find is really speaking to who you are as a person. What gets you started on this journey of becoming an extreme adventurer?
It goes back to my early days of BMX racing, motocross racing, and it's just in my spirit. It's to explore with a fearless ability, and it's just something that I've always enjoyed. And ever since a young kid, I used to go to my parents. They had a game farm, and I'd go wander in the bush for a long time. And nature is a very important part of us as humans. It helps us reconnect with self. When we're in our busy lives in the city and cell phones and 5G to be and all these disruptions in our vibration and our frequency, it offsets us. And sometimes we need to go into nature to reset ourselves and to reconnect. And if you're able to live a life in nature and doing what you love most and hopefully inspiring and motivating people, I think it's a lovely opportunity.
So tell me a bit about your race to, what's it, Natal?
Oh, okay. So we're busy planning a charity ride with me and Hannela Steyn and Mike Nixon. They're brand ambassadors for Land Rover. Hannela is a very well-known mountain biker, epic winner, APSA competitor with many accolades. Mike as well, his background. I've joined up with them, and we are going to cycle from Stellenbosch all the way up to KZN over 15 days. We'll cover 1,930 plus minus kilometers in 15 days for charity, 3 people, starting on the 26th of November this year.
Yowza. So you would say that the idea of cooperation with other people who are like-minded is important to sort of like get new ideas.
Well, if you want to grow something and a business or a situation or an environment, you need a team that will help build on to what you've already created, and to collaborate with like-minded people, and who also have a very strong network profile background in the public and in the private sector. It just binds us to join, and it makes sense to increase one's, how can I say, brand association and pairing and synergy. So it makes perfect sense to leverage off each other to gain more and to benefit from each other and learn, of course, because we will learn from each other on our ride. There will be amazing stories to be shared and a lot of inspiration amongst each other.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, I think that's it. Thank you so much for doing this, and absolutely good luck, and just stay awesome and be the wonderful, amazing, and super Gaven Sinclair that you are.
That's so kind of you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the coverage and stuff. And yeah, I look forward to us chatting again in the future.
Yes, absolutely. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and connect with Gaven Sinclair and keep track of all the amazing things he's doing, because he's quite a regular on LinkedIn, and you can follow him there especially. He's also on Facebook, and just keep track of his journey and say hi. And I'm sure that Gaven will be absolutely happy and willing to talk to anybody who wants to connect and learn more about what he's doing and support his various associations. So enjoy the day, and thank you again, and good luck.
Thanks so much, and we will plan a ride to Namibia, so we'll come and visit.
Yeah, then
we will do that
again in person. Okay.
Thanks so much, and enjoy your day further.